Hi, everybody. Welcome to the training call. This is Ecoin Training. We would call it Bitcoin Training, but we're not sure if Bitcoin's going to stay around forever. So we're calling it Ecoin Training. We're going to be talking about a lot of different cryptocurrencies. And let me show you some stuff that I want to talk to you about. Let me share my screen with you. Today is the end of an extremely wild week. Today is November 13th, 2017. We are at the end of what was supposed to be a fork. They were going to have a big cryptocurrency fork that happened. That's supposed to happen. It was supposed to happen tomorrow, but they canceled the fork for a lot of reasons. You have to listen to the last few videos if you want to get caught up as to why the fork got canceled. But what happened because of it is, you can see over here, we had an extremely rapid growth all the way up to our record high, which was $7,700. Which was just a couple days ago, and then as soon as they announced the fork was going to go away, it bounced up to an all-time high and then just started to dive, just started to tank all the way down. And we knew that the sell-off would happen. So here's the thing: it's really good news. I consider it long-term really good news. The things that happened and the things that are happening, everything that has happened was 100% predicted and predictable. We all knew that the Bitcoin would take a dive right after the fork. So then, now that they've announced that there was no fork, it's actually a stronger position for Bitcoin because it's not going to be split into two different coins. And the fork went all the way down to $5,600. So we lost almost $2,000 per coin. Some people said it was going to go all the way down to 5,000. I said it wouldn't. I said there's no way it's going to go down to 5. It actually went a little lower than I thought it would. I thought it would just go a little bit below 6, but 56 is pretty close. $5,600. It's already recovered from its low all the way up to $6,600. I think that's where we're at right now. We're at 66, so it's recovered half of what it lost, which is really we're actually in a better place than even before the bounce began, before people started to buy a lot of cryptocurrency in expectation. So we're on a rapid recovery to our all-time high. You know, one of the things that we were predicting was that as the Securities and Exchange Commissions and some of the other people started recognizing, some of the big trade exchanges started recognizing Bitcoin as a viable investment opportunity, that it was going to take off. Now, here's the two possible scenarios that we see moving forward. We're going to see one of two things are going to happen. It's either going to start having a tremendous an immediate climb. We'll probably see it go $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 in a very short amount of time, or just the exact opposite will happen. Because what happens is, before the big guys come in, you know, they got millions, if not billions of dollars to invest in a cryptocurrency. What they're going to do is they're going to short Bitcoin, or whichever one they decide to go in. Bitcoin's probably the one. They're going to short the currency, which means it's going to fall. It could fall all the way down to, if they get crazy with it, it could fall all the way down to $4,000. But what's going to happen is they want to get it at the cheapest price they possibly can. So they'll short Bitcoin. It'll fall all the way down to $5,000, $4,000, and then they'll take all their mass amounts of money and buy it at that low price, and it'll shoot back up to $9,000, $10,000, $11,000, $12,000, $13,000. Once it does that, it's basically a point of no return. It'll start maintaining that consistent growth. So what I want to tell you guys is the things that are happening in Bitcoin with the news and the acceptance and then the rejection by different communities and different organizations, different governments. It's actually really good for us as traders. We have a certain amount of predictability. The predictability is that if you'll just hold, no matter what the scenario is, do not panic and don't start buying, don't start selling off from the high, because it's going to come back. There's almost no likelihood at all that Bitcoin's going to completely tank and be replaced by something else anytime soon. If it does, we'll kind of start seeing some of the signs of that, and we'll maybe start splitting some of your investments into one or two different coins. But right now, Bitcoin's still the leader. We had a couple other that we talked about, altcoins. We're going to talk about altcoins through the week. You know, I'm going to try and do a training every night this week, kind of get you guys up to speed as to what the other altcoins are doing and why you might possibly want to invest in some of the other ones. Depending on what Bitcoin Cash does this week, I might take a percentage of my money. But what I'm doing right now, just for my recommendations for you guys, is just let this thing start to have a little bit of stability. Let it come back from the crisis of the split and the non-split and the stories that are being told in the media. Let it go through its scenario, and then it'll go back to its normal pattern of bouncing and then new high, new low, and it'll just watch the thing recover. And we're probably almost into a place of recovery now. So if you guys can see my screen, I'm showing you Bitfinex. I've actually pulled all of my money. As you can see, I only have $419 left in this account. And what they've said, Bitfinex has said that they are no longer going to take U.S. citizens. So if you are a U.S. citizen and you tell them you're a U.S. citizen, they're going to close your account down. So very good idea if you're U.S. to pull out of Bitfinex. I am currently using GDAX for all of my trading. The only downside that I see for GDAX is that it doesn't have all the coins that we might want to trade in the coming future. They only let you trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. I really like to see what's going on with Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Gold. That's for a different episode, for a different story. I've tested out a couple other trading platforms. There's a company called Kraken. It's supposed to be the #3 most used exchange. I spent a couple days with it, found it completely worthless. It kept crashing. It's got a lot of bad crash reports. You know, the way that I trade, I need it to be up most of the time. It needs to be up 99% of the time because I trade on the moment, and it's very important for me not to have it. And so there's a lot of complaints that the system is just not reliable. So I got off of Kraken. I'm still looking for what might be my replacement exchange. One of the things I'd really like to do is I like Bitfinex. If I could figure out how to get a Bitfinex account and have it be owned by someone outside the United States, that would be my favorite. But that's where it is right now. So encourage you guys, keep moving full speed ahead with buy now. You're still at $6,500. If you have any money to invest and you want to buy, that's not a bad thing to do. $6,500. You know, you might want to wait if you've got a couple $1,000, you know, $5,000 or $10,000. It's very likely that it's going to go down at $6,600 right now. It's very likely the new low is around $2,400. So if you wanted to drop another $200 and make a little bit of money on the bounce, I'm not worried about the extra $200. So if you have $10,000, now is still a really good time. Over the next week or so, it's going to go all the way back up to $7,500. So get in now. Most people are starting with $10,000 increments. I think it's safe to spend as much money as you want. It's and now this week, now that it's recovered, I'm going to start showing you the strategies. How do you make 5% and 10% on every single trade? I'm going to start showing you actual practical examples on how to do that. So recommendation for this week is to buy and hold right now. Just hold for the next few days. Wait for some stability to come back in the marketplace. Go ahead and join on Bitcoin Training, facebook.com/groups/BitTrain. Go ahead and get in the group and hit notifications so that you can see all posts and be notified whenever the calls are coming up. I'm going to try and do them every night around between 7 and 9 o'clock every night. So if you want to be on the live call, go ahead and post it there. So I'm going to stop the recording now and open up for Q&A. Let me see if